So welcome to my final thoughts on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. The ever-delayed game is finally here from Nintendo and Retro Studios for the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2. And I'll ask you guys, are you interested in this game? Are you picking it up? Have you already picked it up? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down below.
Oh, you think that one flying?
So yes, this is my final thoughts, but there is no spoilers within here. I'm just going to show the first few levels of the game, and I'm not going to show any of the later content or discuss the story going forward. And it's hard to believe the very first trailer that was ever shown for this game came out in 2017, and the internet went wild. Everybody was like, oh my god, Metroid Prime is back. Now, the original game came out on the GameCube in 2002, and it took the world by storm. To take Metroid into a full 3D universe like that, we couldn't even believe it, and the game was phenomenal. It was really unbelievable. So the trailer was announced in 2017, and then a few years later, Nintendo axed it. It did not live up to their expectations. They were expecting a lot more, and the internet went wild again. We're not getting Metroid Prime 4.
それは本作の開発体制自体を見直し、変更することです。
And then they brought in Retro Studios, who worked on the original Metroid Prime, and now finally the game has been released. And there's some controversies. There's a lot of things going on with this game. There's a lot I want to talk about. Does it live up to the hype? We're going to talk all about that. I'm going to give my final thoughts at the end with some of my critiques about the game. And I'm going to talk a lot about what I do like about the game. Now, this is a 3D action-adventure platforming game. And to begin with, you get to pick your graphics mode. You can pick 4K 60 frames a second or 1080 120 frames a second. I picked 4K 60 frames a second. Very happy with the results of that. It's also very interesting to finally see a Metroid Prime game in 4K. You know what I mean? That's on a Nintendo platform, at least. That kind of blew me away. I'm like, oh, finally, we're going 4K with the Metroid Prime series. And there's 3 difficulties. There's casual, normal, and hard.
Oh no, there's too many of them.
So let's start off with the story. So to start with, we have Samus working beside the Galactic Federation to defend against the space pirate threat. But then something goes wrong, sending them to an unknown planet. And once she gets there, she runs into this ancient alien race that calls her the Chosen One and bestows some powers upon her. And now you gotta find 5 keys to unlock your way home. Now, this links to the story. This is a big controversy of the story that a lot of people are talking about online. And I gotta say, I was terrified about this. And that is about the engineer character within the game.
It's about to get real nerdy in here.
And his name is Miles McKenzie. And everybody was freaking out when this trailer was, shown and the character was talking. Everybody's like, who is this character? Like, this is taken away from Samus. This isn't good.
These X7s tend to stick a little. Come on.
I'll be honest with you, I was so scared because I've been so looking forward to Metroid Prime 4. And I'm like, oh, there's some annoying character that's gonna ruin the entire game. I'm like, I'm not into that. And then I played the game and I got to that bit where the engineer shows up for the first time.
Samus Aran! I'm stuck! Help me out! Oh. Please get me down.
And is he annoying? Yes, his character's meant to be annoying because that's what his character's supposed to be. And he's just kind of helping Samus out, kind of helping her out with some technology, upgrading some equipment here and there, and he becomes a side character.
Now, I'll do some digging to see if there's any way I can support you.
And I gotta say, he did not ruin the game for me. I was so worried about this character. I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be the breaking point of the game. I'm like, no. They created some great visuals here. The storyline's kind of, interesting at that point in the beginning of the story, and then they're just gonna throw this other character in. I wasn't looking forward to it, and I gotta say the character did not bother me. Like, not at all. I kind of just realized that they're kind of a side character. And also, in a game like this where Samus is pretty much silent, you need a character to kind of explain a lot of the storyline that's going on, some of the things that are going on in the world, kind of exposition, right? And his character kind of helped kind of flesh out what was going on there. And yes, he's annoying, but he's meant to be.
We're good. Okay.
So how is the gameplay? The gameplay feels and controls exactly like all of the other Metroid Prime games, and that's a good thing. Now you can use the controller or the mouse settings. I gotta say, when I was at that Nintendo Switch 2 experience, I tried the mouse controls and I just couldn't get with the program. It just did not work for me at all. And I just wanted to use a pro controller at that point. And they didn't have one. All you could do was use the mouse. And I was like, oh man. So when I finally got to play this game with a controller in hand, it felt great. And I was just like, oh, thank God. I mean, some other people might enjoy the mouse controls. I really didn't. It's not really for me. Are any of you guys using the mouse controls to play this game? And how is it for you?
They're coming over the side! Try your missile, Samus. Might be able to knock them right off the bridge.
Now, a lot of this game is running around, locking onto things and scanning them and kind of finding out about the world and some of the creatures. And you can lock onto enemies and use your arm cannon. And just like past games, you can use your missiles to destroy enemies, to unlock other puzzles. And all of those get upgraded in the game. I'm not going to ruin any of those upgrades, but you can upgrade all of your weapons.
That was a close one. I wasn't sure we were going to make it. Thank you, Samus.
And the morph ball is back with the bombs. I want to say I love the morph ball. I always have since the original Metroid back in the NES. It was really nice to see a good return of the morph ball. And yeah, so these aliens bestow upon you these psychic abilities, and that's a lot of the stuff that you'll be using throughout the game, especially to unlock puzzles. There's a lot of puzzles in this game. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yes, you can use your arm cannon and shoot out and control psychically the blast. And that can be used, as I say, for puzzles and for unlocking different things throughout the game and for destroying bosses. You'll be using that quite a few times on certain bosses. One thing that makes a return that I was really happy to see is the save rooms. It's always amazing to walk into a save room and get scanned. That took me back to the original Metroid Prime, and also just to take you back to the original Super Nintendo. Now, the other thing that was very controversial that a lot of people were not liking is the bike, Viola. And you pick that up at a certain point within the game, and then it kind of opens up. And again, I want to save all my final thoughts on all of this to the very end, but I'm just bringing it up as one of the play mechanics you can get, and you can blast through the desert to get to certain keys throughout the world. So we got to talk about graphics here. So yes, as I said, it was amazing to see that Metroid has brought itself into the world of 4K. And you've got the 120 frames a second mode, or just the 4K 60 frames a second mode. And it's always nice to see the reflection of Samus's face within her visor. When I first saw that, I got a big smile on my face. But I gotta say, it's a wonder when you get down to the planet and you start walking around in these lush environments, and it just looks so incredible. I gotta say that about this game. The visuals are stunning. Like little creatures in the background, weird alien birds flying overhead, strange plants, waterfalls. And some creatures in the world are not deadly, they just run away from you. And that just adds to the atmosphere of the game that is brought along by those graphics. And here we go to the music. I really want to talk about the music here. This is a wild one to say. I know it's Retro Studios, Nintendo's publishing, Nintendo's also in charge, but I gotta say, as being under that Nintendo umbrella, this is the best Nintendo music I've heard within the last 5 years. It's gotta be. I've been listening to these tracks and I'm like, not only does it take me back to the original Metroid Prime, It takes me back to that time, that ambience, that atmosphere. But some of those beautiful compositions, man. I mean, some of that piano bits that are played throughout some of the levels, and some of the more hardcore themes throughout the game, especially in the viola, like Bike Factory. That music is so good that I was just running around trying to figure out all the puzzles in the game, and I just stopped at one point and just listened to the music. Now, Nintendo's released a lot of games in the last few years, a lot of great soundtracks. I'm not saying that, I'm not knocking the soundtracks, but this one really stands out to me. And as I was playing the game, I was just like, these are memorable tracks. These are tracks I want to go and listen to, again, when I'm outside of the game. They're tracks that I walk around my place and they're still in my brain. And that's always the thing for me of a great soundtrack, where it kind of follows you outside of the game. Okay, so these are going to be my final thoughts. This is where I kind of sum up everything. I just kind of talked about all the elements within the game, and this is where I kind of talk about my final thoughts on the game itself. I gotta say, I love the atmosphere. They nailed it. They nailed it so well that it feels like a Metroid game. It does, with that music, the exploration, the world setting, exploring, all feel like Metroid Prime, and they feel really, really good. Like I'm playing the game and I'm like, this is Metroid Prime. This is the game that I've wanted, right? This is the game that I've wanted. Like, I just love exploring, seeing this ancient alien tech. I love that stuff, man. I mean, I can't get enough of it. I love the sections with the morph ball. I love going through these ancient alien, caverns and just exploring around with the morph ball. I mean, I really love that, and I think they implemented that really, really well. And that's always been a big thing of Metroid in any of the games, but they've really done it well within this game. Okay, here's some of the things that I have some issues with. And I've got to say, I love the bike. I love the bike so very, very much. I know a lot of people were like, this isn't Metroid. And I was kind of like, well, it's kind of weird they got a bike in the game now, but I'm like, let's get on the bike and see how it is. And I gotta say, the controls of the bike and all that stuff are great. My one issue, this is a funny one, is the desert environment. Because at one point you get the bike and you kind of realize you've got to traverse this big desert environment to get to a lot of the different keys. So you can find some of those keys and unlock your way back home. And here's the really wild thing, and I thought about it a lot. I'm actually glad that I was really sick with like strep throat during the time, because I was going to give my first thoughts, but I couldn't. So I ended up playing the game for a lot longer, and I think that served me well. That I got to see a lot more of the game, like deeper into it for sure, and kind of round it out into my head if I really like some elements or not. And the first time you play the bike, you're like, this is pretty cool. And then many hours into the game of going through that desert, you realize that it's really, really barren. Yes, there's a lot of things there to explore. I'm not saying that. There's other enemies to destroy as you're riding that bike, but it's pretty much flat. And also, the music is very, very, just kind of ambiance at that point, and you're there a lot. And I was just kind of like, I would have liked a really exciting track at that point. And here's the thing. I kind of came back to the point of comparing it to like Breath of the Wild. Now, Breath of the Wild has a great kind of world map that you can go from A to Z, but there's so many things in between to discover, right? And it feels very fulfilling that you're not just going to that castle over there to explore some ruins. You're finding these little things along the way, finding enemies, and it's really, really fulfilling, where I don't get that feeling with the bike level. I really don't with the open desert. It just feels very barren, and I'm going along, and I can find some items here and there and destroy some enemies, but for the most part, it just feels very barren. And I do know, because I bought them, I bought the Amiibos because I'm a crazy guy. And I found out, and I haven't tested it yet, that you can use this Amiibo right here to unlock other music within the desert level. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. That should be there to begin with. The ambiance music is not bad, but I mean, using an Amiibo to unlock other music is kind of a wild choice, to say the least. And I'm not really on that camp for that. I really believe that everything should be within the game for the core game itself. You unlock extra things, that's cool. And I guess it could be classed as an extra thing for sure, but yeah, the desert level has left me a little dry. And sometimes using your psychic abilities, some of the controls on that can be a little bit iffy, can be a little bit spotty, but you do get, the hang of it a little bit later on, but still it has its spotty nature to it, and it can be sometimes a little bit frustrating. But some of the boss encounters in this game are god tier. They really live up to the Metroid Prime universe, and I had a lot of fun with some of them. A lot of them I was pulling my hair out. Honestly, I was like, what's going on with this boss? I mean, and then you just have to sit and strategize and how you use sometimes your psychic abilities and some of your other power-ups. And so sometimes you'll go to one section to get a key, and you can unlock some abilities that you can use on your weapons for another section to get a key. So there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of strategy going on there, but I always felt that the game just kind of guides you. So I felt in the original Metroid Prime, I felt a lot more lost, and I kind of enjoyed that feeling of trying to figure out, where am I going next? What have I got to do? I need more missiles, and then finding things and discovering things, and that's what Metroid Prime is for me. And you do that in this game as well, but sometimes it just feels it's handheld a little bit more for you. But I gotta say, I love this game, and I think it's really, really fantastic. I really do. It lives up to the Metroid Prime universe. It does, and there's been a lot of hype. And has it lived up to the hype? Yes, it has. I mean, a few things that are bringing it down for sure. The desert level, some of the controls at certain times. But I gotta say, I had a blast with this game. This game is phenomenal. And the atmosphere, I can't talk about the atmosphere enough with those visuals, with all the power-ups, exploring the world, unlocking some of those puzzles. And I just want to say something about the puzzles. As a lot of you know, I don't like puzzles in games. I've been frustrated by them since I was a kid. I've never really enjoyed that. I always like just the idea of exploring. But I gotta say, some of the puzzles in this game were so ingeniously created to unlock certain things that I was like, oh, I have this ability, I can use this, and then I unlock this. And then before you know it, you've solved that puzzle. And you're like, oh my God, I figured it out. And it's very, very fulfilling. And I gotta say, I enjoy my time with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I'll ask you guys, have you enjoyed the game? Has it lived up to the hype for you? Or has it fallen short? I'd love to know all the reasons why. Did that character, Miles McKenzie, drive you insane? Was it like, I can't handle this character, or I didn't even pick the game up because of that character? I'd like to know that as well. For me, I kind of feel sad that we've just got another Metroid Prime, and it's kind of come to an end. And I'm like, no, how long do we need to wait for the next one? But I think it's a worthy game on the Nintendo Switch 2. I have not played the Switch 1 version. How is the performance on that? Is that living up to expectations? I haven't seen any reviews or anything like that. So I'd be very curious to know how the performance on the Switch 1 is working. Does anybody need a Switch 2? Or you can just play it on the Switch 1. I'd love to know. But I've had fun with Metroid Prime 4, and I brought out my lucky Metroid that I'd always bring to a Nintendo Direct event. I'd always sit here, watch it, and go, bring me some luck. And you know what? We've had a lot of luck, and I think they kind of really got this game really right. A few things that are wrong with it, but overall, I really enjoyed the experience with Metroid Prime 4. So anyways, guys, until next time.